Matt Walsh is a fascist who is promoting violence against trans people. His language is inflammatory and factually incorrect. The idea that being trans is the result of some kind of social contagion has been disproven so many times. The theory of rapid onset gender dysphoria comes from a survey of 256 parents of trans children and not from the trans children themselves. The article has been removed and criticized for bad methodology. After being peer-reviewed, it was found that rapid onset gender dysphoria isn't even a formal medical diagnosis. It was found that between 2017 and 2019, the rates of teenagers identifying as trans didn't even increase. I wouldn't really call this an apology.
And make no mistake, Dylan Mulvaney is our enemy. He is an open, visible, active, and passionate advocate for the abuse of children, the war on fundamental truth, the destruction of human society as we know it.
What has Declan really done? I really don't know, because I have followed her. I have seen her videos and I have heard what she said. I haven't really found anything that have been destructive to society. She's not out there saying that everyone should transition. She's not out there saying that everyone needs to go through the surgery that she went. She said that she's gone through and she feels happy about herself. I don't see anything wrong with that. Well, I wouldn't put that much information out there because she puts like her whole life out there. And if there's one thing I know, when you go out saying stuff like that, when you put your entire life out there, people are going to attack you. People are going to come back at you. That I understand very well. But I wouldn't think that she is a destructive force for nature. There are many things that are destructive, but I wouldn't count her as one of them. And like I have said, right, I really do not get, I have to say this, right, I watch Matt Walsh because I believe that we can all have our views and opinions about many things. Like we can all like what we like and hate what we hate. I believe in that, right? And I also watch him because sometimes he says things that I like or that I resonate with. But sometimes he says stuff that I really do not appreciate. And I really do not want to like critique him or anything, but I just feel that it's too much. And I think that if he can reconstruct his messaging, it will serve him more than what he is currently doing. Because just going out there full force, batching and nagging and insulting and throwing insult here and there doesn't really serve him at all. Well, of course, that's just my own take, right? Maybe he has a different take on the whole situation. So, but let's continue.
No, Dylan Mulvaney does not advocate for child abuse, and gender-affirming care isn't child abuse anyway, because it's been found that not providing trans healthcare to youth is actually closer to a form of child abuse. Trans kids who are rejected from their family were nearly 60% more likely to commit suicide, 73% more likely to end up in prison, and 68% more likely to suffer from substance abuse. One study found that 73% of trans youth experience psychological abuse and 39% physical abuse. So we can clearly prove that trans people are not committing child abuse. But for the other two claims, I don't know what to do about that. They're so over the top and dramatic. War on truth, the downfall of society. How can you prove or disprove that? And this is where I think Matt Walsh's resentment has a little bit more to do with envy. I mean, I resent Matt Walsh because I think he's a fascist, but I do also envy him. I envy his status, his platform, the fact that people might take him more seriously than they'll take me. But what, if anything, does Matt Walsh envy about queer people? Does he envy Dylan because she grew to such popularity so fast? Is he envious of the fact that she got invited to things like fashion shows, different events, that she's met the president?
Yeah, I think that's a fair argument to make. And that's a fair question to ask. Is he just envy of Declan or not? And I don't know if he is envy of him or not. But I just think that there's a way you say things that people listen to you, and there's a way you say things that people really would not listen to you. And coming to transitioning of children, in my own opinion, is wrong. I believe that people should be able to make these life-changing decisions by themselves. So for a child to be trans in an early age, to me, is wrong. I think that the child should be left to grow up, to understand what he or she is about to do, and to do it with full consent, so that whatever or however it turned out to be in the future, that child has nobody to blame. That child needs to be responsible for whatever transformation he or she want to undergo. So transforming kids, to me, is a no-no. That's where I draw the line. But if adults want to transform themselves, well, good and fine. If adults want to dress the way they want to dress, well, good and fine. But there's one thing also that I personally think, or I know, is that when you do things in a certain way that is not widely accepted by the people around you, you must be ready for the backlash, because there will be people who would not understand what you are trying to do, and they will fight back, they will attack you, they will knock you down. So before you go around doing things that are not commonly done in your society or in your area, you must factor all this into it. People do not like anything that is different. People hate change. When you are the first one to do something unique, they will find it different, and they will find it very difficult to go along with you, and they might attack you for that. So before you go transitioning, before you go cross-dressing, or before you go doing whatever you want to do with yourself, bear in mind or be mindful of your surroundings. Be mindful about the ideas and notions and belief of the people around you. Be mindful of all these things. So let's continue.
Now, we've already dealt extensively with the claim that gender transition decreases suicide rates, to the charge that I am envious because Dylan Mulvaney gets to go to fashion shows. I don't know what to say except that attending a fashion show would be my actual hell. I mean, almost as bad as going to a WNBA game, and I'm already going to be forced to do that. So a man can only take so much. As for meeting the president, yes, I admit that I would be very eager for a chance to sit across from the president with the cameras rolling, but for very different reasons. So overall, no, I'm not envious of Dylan Mulvaney. I mean, in order to elicit envy, he would need to have something that I want or embody some sort of trait that I find admirable.
Well, just saying on air that you do not envy somebody doesn't actually mean anything, because people cannot just take your word for it, right? I can just say that, well, I don't envy Matt Walsh because he is a conservative. He is a traditional Christian. He has values that I do not like. He is this, he is that. But that might not necessarily be the truth. I might just be saying it so that people think that I do not envy them or I do not envy him. But that might not be it, right? I might envy him in another way. And that is why I kept on following every single thing he does. I kept on talking about whatever he does. And the whole thing about Matt Walsh and Declan is that Matt Walsh just keep talking about Declan like all the time. I don't know if it's for the clicks, or I don't know if it's just to fit his conservative followers. I don't know if it's for his own personal ego. I don't know which is which, right? But the whole point is he just kept on talking about Declan like all the time. So it's hard for someone to really understand the reason why. And it's hard for someone to believe when he says that he doesn't envy her or want any of the things that she's got. In fact, whatever Declan stands for, he hates. But this is just his own words, right? I don't think anyone is going to take it seriously. But let's continue.
Now, the next video is from the same guy, so let's continue.
Matt Walsh is a fascist who is promoting violence against trans people. His language is inflammatory and factually incorrect. The idea that being trans is the result of some kind of social contagion has been disproven so many times. The theory of rapid onset gender dysphoria comes from a survey of 256 parents of trans children and not from the trans children themselves. The article has been removed and criticised for bad methodology. After being peer-reviewed, it was found that rapid onset gender dysphoria isn't even a formal medical diagnosis. It was found that between 2017 and 2019, the rates of teenagers identifying as trans didn't even increase.
Most of these papers, research, articles, and stuff like that, it depends on who is actually doing it, and it depends on the motive of the person who is actually doing it, right? So if the person is a pro-trans, he is going to do something that is pro-trans. If the person is an anti-trans, he or she is going to do something that is anti-trans. So all these things depends on whoever is doing it and what is their motive for doing it. But coming back to Matt Walsh's take on the whole trans issue, I think that we can all disagree with his notion or with the way he talks about the things he talks about, but respecting his views and opinion, because I believe that he clearly believes in whatever he is saying. He's not just saying it because he wants to say it. He's saying it because he truly believes in it. And all we can do is show some respect. But I think that it's going to serve him more if he rethink the way he does his messaging. I think he's going to serve him more if he looks for a way to bring people to his side instead of saying stuff that might drive them away. But you guys out there, do you think that what he is saying and how he is saying what he is saying is the right way to go? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, please do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because little deed of goodwill, like the one you have just done, help us a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much, and like always, see you in the next one.